Investors, hello. This is AI Crypto Insights channel, a few minutes of AI-powered insight into the market. Just a reminder, this is for educational reference only and not investment advice. Today we're parsing a great article from Tiger Research on Pay News called Monero, Zcash, and Canton Network, Who is the King of Privacy? Now, before we can even answer that, we have to tackle a much bigger question.
You know, it's the central paradox for big money in crypto. That core feature, the very transparency that makes the network secure, well, it turns into a massive liability when you're dealing with sensitive corporate data. For major companies and investment funds, doing business on a completely public ledger is just, it's not going to happen.
And this analogy just perfectly illustrates the problem. I mean, can you imagine if your competitors could see exactly how much NVIDIA pays Samsung for its chips? Or if everyone knew the precise moment a huge hedge fund was moving its capital? That kind of exposure would totally break the game. It's an absolute non-starter. So to solve this, two totally different philosophies have popped up. And really, the main difference between them comes down to a single question. Can you ever reveal the data if you need to? Let's break them down.
Okay, so here's the crucial point. One path is basically about going completely dark, making all your data irreversibly hidden. The other path is all about control. It's about keeping things private by default, but still having the ability to prove certain transaction details to specific authorized people. And for institutions, that distinction, well, it changes everything.
All right, let's start with the purest approach, and the poster child for that is Monero. Its goal is super simple: hide everything from everyone. It was built from the ground up to prevent any and all third-party surveillance, period.
The magic behind Monero is something called ring signatures. Basically, they take the real sender's transaction and they mix it into a group of decoys. It's kind of like creating a digital crowd to hide in, which makes it practically impossible for anyone to figure out where the transaction actually came from.
So if you were to look at a transaction on Monero's ledger, this is what you'd see. Or maybe it's better to say what you wouldn't see. The sender? Obscured. The receiver? Obscured, and the amount isn't just hidden, it's literally labeled confidential. That data is locked away for good. No exceptions.
And that brings us to the massive roadblock for institutional adoption. You see, financial institutions have a legal duty to perform Know Your Customer and anti-money laundering checks. But since Monero's data is hidden forever, it's just structurally impossible for an institution to do its compliance homework.
So now let's hop over to the other side of the privacy world, because this is where the real fight for institutional money is actually going down. You have both Zcash and the Canton Network offering selective privacy, but their approaches are worlds apart. And that leads to totally different results when it comes to adoption.
Zcash gives you a pretty simple binary choice. Your transaction is either totally public or totally private. It's like a light switch, on or off. There's no dimmer. Canton, on the other hand, gives you surgical, granular control. You can choose to reveal just the transaction amount to your auditor while keeping everything else under wraps. That flexibility is a game changer.
The difference really hits home when you see them side by side. Zcash's all-or-nothing model. It just doesn't work for complex compliance workflows. But Canton was built using DAML, a smart contract language literally designed for these kinds of complex, multi-party institutional setups. And the proof is in the pudding, right there in that last row. Adopt.
So this is what that actually looks like in the real world. A company can make a private trade on the network, then selectively show the transaction amount to its auditor, and then show the counterparty's identity to a regulator, all without ever revealing the full picture to the public or even to each other. It's privacy that works with regulation, not against it.
So, we've looked at the tech, but the final verdict? That really comes from the market itself. Where are the big financial players actually putting their time and money? Where are they building their infrastructure?
And this number, well, it pretty much says it all. We're talking about over 400 firms and institutions. This includes huge financial infrastructure players like the DTCC. That's the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation. They've already adopted the Canton Network. This isn't just a theory anymore. It's really happening.
This quote just perfectly captures the fundamental shift in thinking. For institutions, the whole definition of privacy has evolved. It's not about being a ghost anymore. It's about having surgically precise control over your data so you can fit into existing financial workflows and compliance rules. So this is the key question you should be asking yourself as this space evolves. The massive wave of institutional capital is forcing the entire idea of blockchain privacy to grow up. And the models that can adapt to these complex real-world demands, well, those are the ones that are winning. AI Analyst Verdict:
Institutional capital is favoring compliant, selective privacy models like Canton Network over total anonymity solutions. The ability to manage data disclosure on a granular level is proving to be the critical feature for real-world adoption. Share your thoughts and comments. See you next episode.